Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more.
You're listening to the Man That Can Project with Lachie Stuart, a global movement created to empower men and open up what's really going through their minds by having real and raw conversations about life's unique challenges and our individual ways of processing it all. Welcome to the Man That Can Project.
Welcome back to another episode of the Man That Can Project podcast. I'm your host, Lachie Stuart, and I'm the founder of the Man That Can Project. I'm a men's performance coach aimed at helping men to take their life to that next level and really step into their full potential. So, gents, we do that through workshops, coaching, and of course this podcast where I have incredible guests on from all around the world, plus a few solo sessions by myself where I share lived experiences, insights, and perspectives on, essentially what's going on in my life. But today's episode, I had an incredible guest, Curly, also grew up in Toowoomba, and is doing some incredible things with his good mate and business partner, Kazi, with the ThNks Collective, and ThNks is spelled ThNks. Now, these guys are doing some incredible stuff. They're shedding light on the darker side, adding life to the outer side through raw content and real clothing. And I've been following their journey and the consistency that they shed, the authenticity and the genuine care and passion for what they're doing is one of the reasons why I wanted to have Curly on the podcast to share more about what they're up to there, what the motivation was behind that, and hearing his story. As we talk about, hearing people's story really helps you understand what people have gone through, and just helps you be more empathetic and kind towards people. And Curly shares, what it was like growing up with his dad drinking a few beers and really having to carry hurt and anger for a long period of time, obviously partying for a few years and hurting people and, carrying the guilt of that. And it's really such an incredible conversation. And I really love how Curly shares through his own words what that experience was like. So, gents, you're going to take a lot away from this. I know this is going to be one of those episodes where so many men can relate to, and I think it's such a powerful thing. So if you do relate, definitely let Curly know or comment below on whatever platform you're listening to, and please share this with a mate that will get value from it. And it's going to be epic. Before we dive in, gents, if you haven't checked out the Man That Can Project's Inner Circle program, it's available for men all around the world. We have men from all around the world who are creating momentum in their life and really taking their life to that next level. So there is a 7-day free trial available. All you got to do is head over to the Man That Can Project /Inner Circle, and you can find out more information about that and jump in risk-free and see what it's all about. Get involved with the community and see real men talking about real shit, wanting to be better and supporting each other to do that. So, gents, that's enough from me. Let's dive into this incredible episode with Curly. All right, gents, welcome back to another episode of the Man That Can Project's podcast. Today, got a special guest, Curls. Curls is driven down from the Sunshine Coast today, so it's a massive, opportunity to really get some great insight and a powerful story. And I'm super honoured to have you on the show, and also Kazi behind the camera. I've been watching what you guys have been up to with the ThNks Collective over the last couple of months, and it's been super inspiring, and how you guys are, do you want the shining the light on bringing the light to the darker side?
Shedding light
Sorry.
on the darker side, adding life to the outer side through raw content and real clothing.
Yeah, I love that. And being able to watch the videos that you guys put together and the way that you facilitate conversations, so empowering and inspiring. And definitely, guys, you'll see in the show notes when you finish this, click on some of their content, watch it, get involved, get some shirts. There's a heap of cool stuff that they're up to. But, Curls, thanks for joining us today and thanks for making the effort. I truly appreciate it. How you going, mate? How's the drive down? How's life been this year?
Mate, I'm good, thanks. Year's been up and down. The drive was pretty good, actually, so we're off to a good start today. No traffic, which was nice, but see how we go on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, 2020, like all of us, it's been a weird one, but I've probably had more personal sort of issues rather than, I guess, COVID-related. COVID sort of, to me, at times felt a little bit, in my little world, a bit minute compared to sort of what I was feeling and going through a little bit personally, so maybe it prepared me for COVID a little bit, but overall pretty good. Lots of learning. So
it's been obviously an observer, but watching you sort of going through and being open with everything that's been going on for you. What's sort of the story that's led you to this point and everything, especially with this year? What sort of led you to creating ThNks Collective, and have you been dealing with personally?
I guess it's probably hard to answer it in short. Sort of how deep do you want to go and how far back, but I probably always wanted to start a bit of a sort of clothing brand, and then, I've always sort of felt I've had something a little bit to offer with, through, I just like the idea of maybe being able to touch someone, make them, feel good about themselves, or just remember an experience. And, I've sort of faced my own demons, which, and I'm sure everyone says this, I don't think they're very, they're not on a large scale, but it affected me, and that's sort of the way I've seen it through my eyes. And I guess, I just like to sort of express that and encourage others just to talk about it, and not all the bad, the good and bad, and just somewhere to sort of tell stories and sell some cool clothes off the back of it, show some vulnerability, and yeah.
That's awesome, mate. And it's been very cool to watch. And, obviously we both grew up in Toowoomba and, have crossed paths time and time again. So I've sort of seen, what the environment we've both sort of grown up in, like, and where you're at now. And sort of stepping into your own and really wanting to I truly believe that what you guys are doing is incredible, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's impacted more people than you guys probably are aware of, which is incredible, through the vulnerability, through you taking the risks ultimately to put yourself out there and start creating a community, which is powerful. And you touched on your experiences, whether it's, obviously relative to you, and it's been how it is. And I think the important point for us as men and as individuals to realize whatever we're going through could be the biggest thing that we've ever gone through. So there's no point ever sort of dusting it off and going, it's not as big as what Johnny went through, or it's the biggest thing that we're dealing with at that point in time. So understanding that it's completely okay to feel the highs, feel the lows, and every other sort of emotional experience that goes with that, which is awesome to see you sort of creating conversations around that and creating community and allowing a space for men to tell their stories. And you're doing it in a really cool way with the films and stuff. But take us back, to a point in time that sort of, a defining event that sort of shaped you into who you are today and what you're trying to achieve.
I guess for me, it's probably, I wouldn't say there was a defining moment. I'd say it's probably even a generational sort of trend in our family. I guess, my granddad sort of drank quite a bit, and I think he carried a lot of hurt, and then sort of my dad drank a bit himself, and he sort of carried a bit of his own pain and probably never dealt with it. And, that I feel, I was onto that at a young age. I could sort of see that, and I was sort of, what are you doing? At sort of times, I remember saying that to myself at 12 years old, but now I'm 30 doing the exact same shit, so I guess it's just about just trying to figure out, whether I figure out what it is, I'm not too sure, but I guess just, with that drinking and, it led to mum and dad getting divorced, when I was 12 years old. My brother was 17, he was off with his friends, and my sister was sort of always in relationships, so I was sort of 12, and I lived with I lived with Dad because obviously Mum had always been a stay-at-home mum, and Dad was drinking quite a bit, just gone through a divorce, and things were pretty sort of tough at home, and I guess I was sort of that person, I guess in a fucked up way, the front line, you could say, I guess, against Dad, and and he was just trying to deal with his own shit and doing the best he could with what he knew, and he's a man who's always carried hurt, and I've never resented him. I love him more than anything, and I've always been wise enough and switched on to the fact that was the case, but in those years it sort of affected me a lot more than I realised, and I thought I was just partying, and that's what I was for so long, and I was reckless, and I sort of used to be quite cheeky, and then I felt over years I've just sort of built this anger, and then I sort of got a vicious side about me, and I just, and I couldn't sort of commit, and then if I would commit, I'd sort of go in too deep and sort of get really hurt and leave myself sort of open to get hurt, and I've just those years of where you sort of learn your craft of being an adult. Mine was just completely the other way, and I still probably struggle a fair bit to today. So I guess, that's probably been I wouldn't say a point in time, but it was just a period, across my upbringing that I've sort of struggled with a little bit, I guess.
It's an interesting perspective because I can't, sit here and say I understand what it would be like going through that at 12 years of age. 12 years of age for me was running and skateboarding and doing a whole heap of sort of stuff. I didn't have too much responsibility. I'm sure there's a lot of men out there who can definitely relate to, or maybe even dads who are going through similar things, who maybe might sort of bring a different perspective into how they can father differently and the impact that it may be having on you as a kid. But it's interesting from that age just how much those what may seem like subtle things have such a significant impact on how you think, act and behave throughout the future, which is, I guess, interesting, and it's pretty brilliant and powerful that you had that level of awareness to understand that your dad was in pain or carrying hurt. Where do you feel you sort of got that from? Like,
I think I've always been a pretty sensitive and pretty insensitive at the same time, so I think I'm pretty aware of sort of, I feel if someone's hurt or someone's genuinely happy, I feel I can see it in people, and I don't know if it's just something I was born with or whether through my experiences, but I just feel I've just been very onto it. Like Dad will sort of often try and mask his pain, but I could just see straight through it. No one else would probably be able to pick up on it with Dad, so I'm not too sure. I couldn't really put a finger on it, but I guess whether it's a skill or what it is, I'm not too sure, but I'll take it. I'm happy enough with it.
Yeah, bloody oath. I think it's an incredible thing, and if we had more people with more empathy and understanding, it would go a country mile with just how much it would open the space to seek to understand what people are going through rather than just jumping to conclusion and judgment, which often ruins relationships before they start, or can lead to argument and resentment and everything off the back of that. But going through that sort of age, you're saying you're partying a lot, and I think I often say it when I'm on a podcast, like it seemed normal for me as well, like doing the whole partying and everything that went on like that. But then when you speak to certain people, maybe it's not to the degree of partying that I did, or maybe you did as well. And what was that point in time for you where you realised that you wanted to sort of start, I guess, addressing some things or trying to understand a few things about how you were feeling, maybe the hurt that you were carrying or the anger that you were sort of dealing with?
I guess probably in the last couple of years I'm a lot more aware of it. I don't know about addressing it. That's where I'll probably shoot myself in the foot, and onlookers might say, "Oh, you do this to yourself" or whatever, and I can understand that. But for me, it was sort of so normal for so long that I've only sort of realised now when I've moved to the sunny coast with not a lot of mates. I don't party a lot, where like just trying to be half normal. Really, I struggle with it, and I sort of feel a lot of hurt. And that's why I feel a lot of this stuff's come up, because I've always just masked it. I still didn't get there. We'll just move on from that. Yeah, so I guess now I'm 30 years old, and it's basically it's a point where it's like, well, keep going, and it's it's it makes life too hard the other way. So I've sort of been aware of it for some time, but I sort of want to make a big change, and I fall back in. And I read this book not long ago, and this guy said, and this may be hard to understand for a lot of people, and I get that, but he said if you're basically, in not these exact words, if you've seen pain and you've seen trauma and failure and all these things, your natural instinct is just going to keep behaving and going back to that, because it's not going to know what to do with the other side of it. And I thought, fucking hell, that is just me to a T, because I'm not dumb. I'm wise enough to know, but I've still just always done. I still find a way to fuck it up a little bit and just fall back down that, so that's where I'm just, it's probably the hardest thing in my life, just trying to figure out that sort of stuff, and trying to go forward. And I'm probably, on the other hand, probably a little bit hard on myself too, probably set all these expectations, and you listen to books and watch books, and you should do extra breathing, and there's so many things that can sort of add a little bit of extra pressure on yourself too. So
100%.
It's, I guess, about finding what works for you and managing it, and being okay with it. But yeah, I don't know if that sort of answers your question, but
that was it's interesting, what you paraphrased there. I think through the whole process, that we can learn to take responsibility. And everyone's got shit. Anyone who says they don't, unless you're the Dalai Lama, like, you're kidding yourself.
He'd have something going.
Yeah, he 100%. He's just avoiding it with meditation. But we're all carrying stuff, and it's not until we do, like you said, you change your environment and you don't have as many mates around, so it's hard to mask it in potentially the ways that you used to. So there's things that come up which sometimes we're not even ready to deal with, and we mightn't be ready to deal with, and we may never be ready to deal with, but it's just that understanding that, it's always going to be there. It doesn't define who you are as a person. It's an experience that you may have had, and it may be where you're comfortable, right? Because doing things differently is fucking scary.
Yeah.
We've got that fear of failure, fear of judgment, and all these things that go through our head that, I guess, hold us where we are, which is nor a good thing or a bad thing, depending on where we want to be. And I think a lot of people think that it's black and white when you're talking about where you should be as an individual. Like, if you want to feel happy, do this. If you want to be successful, do this. But we don't ever or often take into account what the fuck's going on in our head. And it's different for everyone at any point in time based on the experiences that we've had, the trauma that you've been through, the life that we've had. And we need to start unpacking that at a rate that works for us to understand how we operate. And that's never going to stop.
Yeah.
Like, for you, as you sort of starting to step into all that sort of stuff, it's scary as shit, but I'm sure it's, looking back over the last 12 months, like you said, it's been quite interesting getting to sort of play around with everything that's going on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like you say, you'll always sort of be trying to go to that next level, or, trying to improve. And for me, it's not even trying to go to the next level right now. I'm still just fumbling. You know what I mean? But I guess at times I've just got to remind myself that's okay, and just go so hard on yourself. And that is the biggest, again, I heard something else the other day. Like, think about what you say to yourself. If you said that to anyone else, or if someone spoke to you like that, like, how would you treat them? How would you look at them? And I've sort of been thinking about that. I think, geez, I punish myself. I crucify myself just for, stuff I've done back in the day, and all that sort of stuff sits with me. And I think it leads back to when I was younger, but it doesn't excuse my behaviour. And yeah, I don't know. It's I guess just a work in progress. Just chip away at it. But.
Do you ever have the? I think about all the stuff that I did in the past as well, and hurt a lot of people, and I never try to justify what I did, but there's also a point where I'm trying to move on from things and prove that I can be better than that. But then there's also, in the other side of my head, there's like, well, are you just trying to fucking justify that and move on? It doesn't actually. So I always sort of float between, like, I can move on, can be better, but then there's moments in time I'm like, am I just justifying my poor behaviour by saying I can change? Like, it's an interesting thing that my brain always fucking.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, mine's probably, for me, I feel like when I've hurt people and I said some nasty shit on the piss and that, if people come at me, my tongue can just go wild. And, I think I've won the battle, but then I go away and I'm off myself, and I'll wear it. Like some of the things I've said and done to people, I still think about to this day, and I feel like, because in their eyes, if I've hurt them and I sort of haven't been punished, I feel like I need to sort of punish myself in a way.
Yeah.
And I just don't sort of move on with it. So to those people, if they think I get away with it scot-free, I definitely don't. Like, I punish myself, and I just don't know how to handle it and how to move on from that sort of stuff. And shit sticks with me for a long time, you know. So I know what you mean there, but that's sort of maybe how I guess I wouldn't say deal with it, but that's how it feels to me. So
definitely. It's always going to stick with you and I think for me, like looking at that, like I guess whether you call it guilt or whatever you want to, it shows that you've got a conscience. The fact that you're holding that there because of that.
100%. And I feel like I get hurt because I feel like if these people knew what I'm actually like and how I actually feel. Like I feel love and care for them, you know, more like if say if me and a certain person had a run in or whatever it may be, through shit I'd said and carried on, you know, on the piss or whatever. Like if it actually came to it and if they were struggling, I feel I'd be the person, you know, that would look after them or would do me best. Like I'm quite a caring person, but they've just seen this ugly, savage side of me and I fucking hate it, you know. I don't like it, but yeah,
It's like you said, though, you're fumbling your way through, you're just trying to figure it out. Like, we aren't taught this stuff at school. No, I don't remember sitting down for a year at school learning about my emotions or how to communicate properly or how to, you know, not be aggressive, all this sort of shit that we fuck around with and gets us into trouble after school. I've never once been taught on it. So I think the fact that you're acknowledging it and you're happy to, like, we're all fumbling. Every single one of us are fumbling. Because no one really knows. To figure out. It's only through those moments where you walk away going, fuck, I shouldn't have done that or I shouldn't have said that we realise that maybe we shouldn't have done that. And then if we can get 1% better, like I always say to people, you know, when I deal with my low moods, and I always remember back to PNG a few years ago where I locked myself in a room for a day. I just didn't want to talk to anyone. And it was like in this beautiful resort and people were like, why didn't you fucking going outside? I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. So the goal for me next time I had a low mood like that was like, all right, let's try and just keep it to 3/4 of a day. And then from that half a day and just slowly work out ways to make myself start feeling better. And it's the same with doing dumb shit, whether it's drinking or drugs or, you know, verbally saying the wrong things. It's like next time I just want to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not going from A to B super quickly, which is what people probably expect us to do. And we probably, like you said, you put those pressures on yourself to do, but it's also knowing that, you know, we need to think about what's the next step for me or what's the next thing I need to learn as an individual, which is, once again, easier said than done because life fucking happens so quickly.
Yeah, it does.
That's for sure. And, you know, rolling into sort of this year, like, you know, moving up to how long have you been up the coast for?
We've done it there, I think, April 2018, maybe?
Yep. Been living the dream up there too.
No, sorry, April 19.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, 19.
Like 18 months or something.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the dream though. Like I got out there with the business stresses and a relationship that sort of, you know, didn't go any good, which was pretty hard for one reason or another. And so I got up the coast and that was another, you know, sort of felt a guilt like I'm living in paradise and fuck, my head's just not with it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, it's good to be out there. It's a nice part of the world to live.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Do you miss Toowoomba?
I miss photographing the houses.
Yeah.
I miss, like we spoke about earlier, just like all my friends are a little bit older and with their partners are going to these luncheons and stuff, and I miss that so much. And I, you know, obviously family and whatnot, but yeah, I really miss that sort of, you know, friendship, sort of just, you know, we've all partied and all sort of done that stuff together, but that sort of next phase in our lives and, you know, being up the sunny coast, they got a sort of good crew there, and at the Goldie, I miss that a lot. You know, I'd kill for half of them up the sunny coast, so anybody's listening.
yeah. Move on up.
Yeah.
No, I want to move up to the sunny coast. It's a dream. I reckon over the next 5 years it'll get pretty populated.
Insane, yeah. It's already started.
Yeah, you'll be kingpin then.
Hopefully. Knocking on the door.
Which would be perfect. But how do you go, like, up there now with, you know, not over having all your close mates and stuff? They're like, you were saying it's sort of, you haven't been able to mask as many things or escape. Is that why you feel it has been a bit of a full-on year for you personally?
Yeah, I feel in Toowoomba and sort of wherever I've been around a lot of friends, I've always felt I was a pretty confident person.
Yep.
But then if I sort of wasn't feeling confident on the day, I might try and drink a bit more or do whatever, take it to the next level just to sort of kill those insecurities. And then sometimes I'd handle myself well, but quite often I wouldn't. But now where I'm a lot more conscious, but I guess you could say I'm more sensible and not sort of seeing mates as much, I've sort of seesawed the other way, and now I'm sort of so like I'm lacking a lot of confidence, and like I get a lot of anxieties. Like I sort of not even really that confident around carsy, you know what I mean? Where I used to just be, quite a confident person. So I've sort of gone from confidence sort of being a little prick at times to now, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to balance it back in between, because when I feel I'm on and I'm confident and I'm happy, I feel I'm a good person to be around. But when I'm not, I get off myself and I put a pressure on myself. And we were at a Christmas party the other day with Carsey, and I just sort of wanted to get out of there because I just didn't feel like I was on, and I sort of just put too much pressure on myself. So I guess without my friends to lean on and people knowing who I am, I'm sort of got to start as this new person up here, but I'm trying to be like this better version. I'm fucking struggling with that side too. So I just put so much pressure on myself, and even once I get back around all my mates and that, it's obviously I'll probably hang on to the fun times that they were when I was happy and confident, but still just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun process, man. It's scary as shit, but it's also, exciting. As you said, you're sort of trying to recreate that's a person of yourself, which is, trying to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. But when you don't have the security blankets around you of the boys and stuff, or what you're comfortable with, it's daunting because you don't know how it's going to go. You got the fear of judgment and
being a smart ass and how it might be perceived. You know, that's all I've ever known, and now I find myself just scared. I definitely know what you mean there.
Do you ever find it's like hard? Because I remember for me as well, like there was an experience when I first started dating Amy, and we went to a pub, and I used to just say fuck, standard sort of stuff. Couldn't really articulate myself, and this guy asked me, like, I can't remember the specific question, but I was like, oh, it's fucking fucked. And he's just like, mate, how about you try speaking with some real language? And at the time I wanted to punch his head in because, fair play to him, but it's always stuck with me because I've always been like, it sort of sent me on that journey, like, how can I articulate myself better? How can I get comfortable saying things without worry about being, I guess, criticised or all these sorts of things? And, that's why I love reading now, because I'm trying to learn to be better, and I love audio and what you guys are doing, because you learn how people communicate and you can sort of learn what you like or where you may want to improve. Do you ever feel like that fear of saying the wrong thing and stuff like that?
Mine's just how might maybe perceived. Like if I'm on, I'm just say whatever, and I feel it can just roll off the tongue. But otherwise, this wall comes up, and I can't even like look at people properly. And it's just the last however long, and it just sort of wigs me out. I don't know what you'd fear of saying the wrong. I'm not too sure how to put it. I just sort of get this bad anxiety coming over me, and I never would have admitted anxiety once upon a time, but it's a real thing for me. And I don't know. I guess maybe just might start annoying Carsey and that a little bit more. Just getting around them fellas a little bit more might sort me out. But
it's even once you start just saying, I do, that's how I feel in those situations, like it fucking makes you feel a bit better because you don't have to hide it anymore. It's like, is what it is. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, fucking when you feel pissed off or angry, that's normal too. If you feel happy, you're happy to show people that, but it's like you sort of the darker sides we try to hide away, and it's like it's fucking normal.
100%. And I guess when I'm happy, I'll let people know. Like, people know if I'm happy. I tell people I love them. Like, tell me mates when I get off the phone to them I love them. Like I sort of say it to Carsey all the time. Like, I love hard and I hate hard. Like, if I'm happy and I'm on, about it. And if I'm down, generally know about it too. But I sort of probably don't, let you know as much. You just sort of read it. So just trying to be a bit more honest about that's good, like you say.
Do you have any things that make, obviously on the beach, do you try get out to the beach and clear your head and do stuff like that? Or what's sort of that process like when you're in the hate mood, the low mood?
Honestly, I just ride it out a lot of the time. But when I go to the beach, I'm a lot better now. There was a period there but I just wouldn't get out of the house. Couldn't move, couldn't get out of my own way. But I'm a lot sort of better with it now. But those sorts of things. Like yesterday, I was off it. Partner said, I said, oh, you know, I'm thinking about going to the gym. She's like, yeah, go to the gym. You know, you'll cool off. And I went to the gym and got back, and I was half like, woo, carrying on and shit. So,
Got a pump
those little gym, beach, even just like I'll call Kazi sometimes just because he's a pretty bubbly person, just makes you feel good. Yesterday probably didn't pan out the way that I was hoping, but because he was having an off day, I was like, oh, fucked me here today. But
I need you, man.
Yeah, so I don't know, just all those little things. Like we all know about them, eat healthy, sleep and that. But yeah, I guess at times it's a big thing for me. It's write it out, which it's probably not the healthiest way, but I'm still just trying to figure things out.
I'm a massive believer in journaling or writing because I always use the analogy of like your head's like a blender. If you were to throw fucking all the berries and bananas and honey in there and turn the fucker on, like that's how sometimes my head feels. So if you were to sort of turn it off and then unpack it, you can sort of make sense of what's going on a little bit more. It doesn't always work, but it gives you something to focus on rather than just going, whoa, the brain is going wild.
Yeah, it can. It goes. You know, it can be full on, and when you're in that moment, it can be hard to pull out of it. So you know, whether it's asleep or gym or whatever it is at times, but yeah.
I think as well, you know, even how you're sort of talking about it, you're comfortable admitting you get anxiety and all of that sort of stuff. Like I remember my brother and dad have struggled for years with it, and I never understood it until I was maybe like 22, 23. And I used to be like when my brother tried to take his life and all that sort of stuff. Like I tried to bash him up for it because I was like, go on, like do the job because I never understood it. And for me, I'd just been brought up like harden up. So that's what I was we all struggle, and I was dealing with it in that way. But I was like, if you can't even deal with it, fucking piss off. And now that I sort of understand it, and also understand that no one can really understand what any individual is going through, you have an idea of potentially what anxiety feels like, but that's what it feels like for you, or it's different for me. And same with, you know, depression or whatever it is that you're experiencing, it's always different. So when people try to tell you to harden up or do this to get over it, it's like the last thing I want to be told right now is how to deal with something. Just fucking...
Yeah, and because people, they don't see it through your eyes. So what you've, you know, the path you've walked and, you know, the interactions with your personality, with your, you know, however your brain works, all these different little components is going to be completely different. So when you sort of tell someone, they sort of tell you what you're doing wrong, and I've had this a little bit, no, you do this and that, but like you don't really understand. And that's where I'm so excited about ThNks, because one thing I find ThNks gives me personally is I'm not alone. Like I just think, oh, I wig out a bit and I think I'm going half mad. And then everyone reaches out and they're like, oh, mate, I'm the same. It's like, how good.
Yeah.
Not that you're going like that, but we're in it together. And then the other thing is the empathy and understanding. So, you know, my brother-in-law told his story, and just gives, you know, if people don't know someone, you can hear that story and then you're like, fucking hell, like a bit of understanding about what he might have been through. So, you know, everyone just might go a little bit easier on each other at the end of it. So I guess that's what we love about ThNks, that side of it, the empathy and understanding, because it's big. I feel I like to think I'm not too bad at it. You know, I've sort of, for example, you know, you and a mate are talking, oh, this fella's blah, 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 doing this and that. I sort of look a little bit deeper what he might be going through, the pain he sort of might be in, whether it's through my own experiences. And it's not an excuse. It's just you got to think that little bit further into what it may be. And I think it's a pretty important thing, because when you open up to someone and they try and sort of tell you what to do or how it should be, when you really sort of don't know, you know, for me, it's probably not the way to go. But
100%. That's my favourite quote I've ever heard, is seek to understand before being understood, which is, it's like everyone, like we're saying, it's like based upon, you know, you would perceive an event. We could have the same event happen here right now, and how you perceive it based on your life experiences to this point are going to be completely different to mine. And there's no right or wrong. It's perspective.
Yep.
But if I can sort of seek to understand why you think that way or believe that way, and you know how you guys do it through ThNks by sharing people's stories, it's like, as you said, you then go, fuck, now that makes sense why, you know, he speaks like that or believes that, and then it puts into perspective, because you're like, if I'd had the exact same experiences as you, I'd be doing the exact same thing, and vice versa.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
all unique, which is the beauty of actually having conversations like we're having right now.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think even, I would imagine the ripple effect of what you guys are doing. You've got mates watching you guys go through this journey, but also interviewing, your brother-in-law and other people. It's starting to create those conversations where people are probably talking about the conversations that you're having, which would have that ripple effect of, they're going to say, oh, I've experienced that too. And you're getting to know your mates on a deeper level, on a better level.
100% you are, yeah. I couldn't agree more. And even since starting ThNks, there's been guys messaging me, especially one guy who we've partied together quite a bit.
Yeah.
He loves a punt, I love to punt. And I sort of, that punting story I was told there a while ago, he said, mate, love what you're doing with ThNks. He said, you're helping more people than you know. And he's plays a bit of footy. He's just gone overseas. He's a good man and pretty bubbly, sort of happy, to the eye person anyway, but he obviously might struggle, maybe behind the scenes with his punting and whatnot, and sort of to hear him say that, it's like, fuck yeah, this is good. It makes you feel good, and it's cool.
But so talk us into, like, obviously ThNks, what you're doing and why you love doing it, but sort of what was that? Was there a moment where you were just like, we're going to pull the trigger on it now, it's time to make it happen?
We still, I guess, essentially we want to pull another trigger, which we were talking about on the way down. We want to go a bit harder, but I guess we've just got to figure out the logistics with our current businesses. But just that day when I was at Mooloolaba, I'd say that was probably the starting point, would you say, Kazi? Like, I was living at the coast, had a good business, had friends, The way you look at me, my life, should seem pretty good, but it just wasn't. I was just dark, and I just was looking over the beach at Mooloolaba, just hating life, and I thought, like with the clothing brand, that's something I wanted to do. And then I went to Kazi and I tried to sell it to him for a couple of days, and went to the gym. And I still remember walking out where we were walking, and he goes, "Oh, bro," and he turned to me, he goes, "Guess what? I'm in." He gave me 5, and I was like, "Yes." And then from that point, like, we started to do it, and we've got so many ideas and so many things we want to do. It's just finding the time to get to it right now. But I would say maybe those 2 points, like me on the Mooloolaba beach, and then we had our meeting at just near there at Mooloolaba, the little barbecue areas, and I went with my little notepad and pen, and he's like, "So, awesome. Thanks to you and all this." And I was selling it to him, and he's like, "Oh, right, it's cool." And then he sort of wasn't too sure, and then the next morning, he's like, "Yeah, I'm in." And I was like, "Okay, good." I'd say, probably that was the start.
What was the process like for you then? Because I know there's a lot of people who think about doing it. I know there's a ton of blokes who stare out just going, fuck, my life's not where I want it to be, or I'm not happy or fulfilled, and they think about doing things, but they never take that leap. Like, for you, what sort of made you follow through with it?
I guess I've been lucky. When I had my accident in 2014, I couldn't carry on in our family construction business just because my body couldn't handle it.
Yep.
So I quit, and I was like, well, fuck, I didn't do any good at school. I was like, what am I going to do? So I Googled job ideas, and then photography came up. I bought a camera, and then I taught myself how to take photos of real estate on YouTube, and then that's how that business started. So that there taught me, like, if you actually just walk into something and have a crack, you'll pull it off. So, like, I've been lucky enough from that point, and that's where I guess me and Cars are a little bit different. I sort of try and always say to Cars, and he's like, logistical and sensible, and that's what you need, whereas I'm just a little bit, you know what I mean? So I think that's maybe, I don't know if Kazi agrees, but I feel, for me, I'm pretty lucky because of that.
Yep. That's awesome.
Point.
It's cool having like that, whether you call it yin and yang, but like the two different ways of approaching things, like in terms of maybe it's a more free-flowing creative style and like the logistics, and you need both to really create something amazing.
I'd say he's the creative. I'm the dreamer. I reckon I'm the visionary. But I reckon he's the creative. So yeah, it's a perfect storm.
Bloody oath. Yeah, it definitely is. And what was the accident back in 2014? I was
out in the oil rigs, and a lighting tower fell and hit me in the back. Partly through sort of being told something I shouldn't have done, and then partly a fair bit of my own stupidity as well.
Yep.
could have been a lot worse. If I didn't see it, it would have snapped my neck and would have killed me. But I turned and it hit me in the back, and it didn't crush me. Luckily, it just hit me and stopped. So then, I obviously went away from the rigs and went into photography eventually. But it was pretty full on.
Yeah, are you are you looking for the positives in that? Are you glad it happened?
Like if people hear me whinge about my back, but like it's if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be doing photography, which then wouldn't have led me to the sunny coast, which then wouldn't have led me to probably my current partner and ThNks and Kazi, So I'm still walking, I'm cheering with it. And I remember after that happened, I sort of said to myself, I'm not going to do anything at any point that makes me unhappy. And I did that the last couple of years, and I'm sort of snapping out of it, and I want to wake up to it. And that's why I want to go so hard at this.
Yeah.
Before, I think it might have been before or just after that accident, I'd said to a girl that I was speaking to, I feel I've got something more to offer in life, and I just don't know where to do it and what to do with it. And once we started ThNks, she sent that to me, and I was like,
really?
This is, I reckon, what I'm meant to do. And it's
powerful.
Yeah, poor old Kazi, he just cops it, like, honestly.
It's awesome that she took the time to send that to you, and how it always works out the way it should, even though when we're in the fog of it, it's hard to see where it's going. And it'll be very exciting to see where you guys take things. Obviously, if you want to keep going hard with it, and
we want to go around the world.
Fuck yeah.
Tell stories of all sorts of people, like third world countries sort of stuff, and just storytelling, good and bad storytelling. That's personally what I want. Just share the journey and the content on the way. I think it'd be pretty cool.
100%. I think that'd be unreal to watch that unfold. And it all started with just the choice and the decision. So I think to everyone listening, you can sit there and think about how unfulfilled you're feeling, or you can go out and just take the risk. The worst that's going to happen is start again.
Yeah, you lose 6 months of your time, or 2 years of your time, but at least and you've tried and
learn a lot in the process.
I guarantee if you go all in, if you make it a situation of life or death, you'll make it happen, I reckon.
I know, 100%. And why is there no A on the ThNks? So ThNks.
So I used to text people and I fucked up the word thanks, and it just corrected to that. I was writing thanks and it went to that, and then I thought I just didn't mind it, and then I thought, I don't know, we might just make something work off the back of it, and then I put obviously the word with the clothing brand and then with the storytelling, we've just sort of pulled them all together. It always just stuck with me. I liked it. It was sort of not gratitude, but it was close to all that. It's a nice word, the word thanks, but it's not actually the word thanks itself. And I don't know, I liked it. And here we
works
are.
Well. Yeah, here we are. We got it nailed. What's if you were to be able to, because there's a lot of young people that listen to this as well, and those teenage years are a confusing time in our life, because especially now, I'd hate to be growing up with social media at school, but there's so much happening, and there's so much, social media bullying, and there's so much uncertainty. If you could go back and give advice to your 16 to 18-year-old self, what would you say to yourself?
I did a post not too long ago and it was captioned advice to the younger people.
Yep.
I don't know if you could maybe bring that up in your links or something at some point, but
100%.
That got a pretty good response, and that's sort of, I'm probably not someone who can give a lot of advice on money and all these sorts of things, but that is the sort of stuff where I think if you do those things, the rest of the stuff, it will come together, but your own happiness will hinge heavily off those things, I feel. But yeah, just do what makes you happy and be a good bloke. Be the best you can.
Is it this one?
I'll be able to point it out to you. Oh, sorry. Go to ThNks.
Oh, thanks. ThNks Collective. Boom. Right, so I'll read it out. So to the younger people, I can't give you life advice on money, career, or being an ideal role model, but run a fuck, enjoy yourself within reason. always, and I mean always, respect elders. Never steal, and be the person someone could trust with anything, no matter how big or small. If a person, whether it be a friend or not, drops $50 and you think it's theirs, front up and hand it over. You or them won't remember that $50 in 10 years, but you'll always remember how you handled it. People remember that stuff, and it's the right thing to do. You'll feel better for it, and it'll come back around. Back your mates, find good ones, stick solid till the end, because that's a pretty special thing. Plenty claim loyalty, yet few genuinely have it. That's a very good point. And I am lucky enough that I could trust my day ones with absolutely anything. Always be well-mannered to your friends, parents, because no matter how much you play up, if you show them the respect and show them that you are good at heart, they'll support you. And I can tell you that from my experience, that's a good thing. It's not your mother's love. It's not a mother's love, but it's pretty special. Do what makes you happy, run wild and experience things and places. If you want a girl or a boy, tell them how you really feel. And to the other side of that, appreciate hearing that, and don't let your instinct tell you it's not cool, too much or weird, because that is proper. Do your time in whatever it is at your work, if that's what you feel you need to do. But if it isn't, don't do it, and do whatever makes you happy. You're welcome, curls. Nah, I threw the last bit in. That's quality. That's a really powerful point. You can find that on ThNks Collective, or it's THNKS _. It's double underscore, right?
It's 2 or 3.
Yeah, couple there. I'll link it in there, but you can go through and have a few reads of the post, because there's some good stuff there. But I think that's powerful. Summed up some pretty solid advice there.
Yeah, like it's obviously not, it's not for everyone, but I guess that's the way I sort of see things. That's the stuff I'm proud of. So that's sort of advice I can give, and then just mainly just do what makes you happy and just try your best, just to be good, be a good person. Like we all fuck up. I have more than most in terms of doing things you shouldn't to people, but just try your best to be good. And,
the rest follow suit. And final sort of question, actually, too, where can people find you guys? Obviously, to keep supporting you guys and spreading your vision, and even I highly recommend, because there's a lot of people who have incredible stories that listen to this, reach out to you guys. But where are the best places to sort of get in touch with you guys?
Just ThNks Collective, our Instagram. So what is it? It's ThNks ____.
I'll attach it in the show notes anyway. So
that's all as of yet. That's all we have. We've set up a Twitter, but we haven't done much with it yet. Our Facebook, and then obviously webs like our Shopify website, all that sort of stuff. I think you'll find it on our Instagram, but we're sort of quite young there. To do. Yeah,
no, that's cool. But yeah, the website as well, I'll link that there, but it's thankscollective.com.au. So if you want to get some shirts, because check out the gear anyway. It's quality. But Coles, what's your definition of being a man?
I guess someone, when you go to, say you go on holidays, or you go around to your old man's house and just they idolise you, you just lead from the front. Career path, but just a human being you are, and I guess if you just lead from the front and be a good human being, I think that's enough for me to be a man, and to provide for your family. But just someone that the family will look up to and idolise like their king. 100%.
That's awesome, mate. And I truly do appreciate you guys making the effort to come down here. And obviously, it's one of your first podcasts, which is awesome. But I've taken away so much, and I can't wait to listen to it back with my pen and notepad and get some more gems out of it. But guys, if you want to obviously reach out to the guys at ThNks, all the links are included, but you can also reach out to the boys individually as well. And, if you relate to Curl's story, which I'm sure a lot of you guys will, reach out. I'm sure he's more than happy to have a yarn with you guys and, go further from there. But thanks so much for coming on, mate, and love what you guys are doing, and look forward to supporting you guys in the future.
Thank you so much, Lachie. It's been real, mate. Loved it. First time for me, so pretty nerve-wracking, but appreciate it. In terms of the ThNks stuff, guys, our stock, we've got to restock, so the sort of website's pretty limited at the moment, but we've just decided to pull back on the clothing, just get it right, so give us a bit of time there, and it'll come to fruition.
It's good, though. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
To be busy and selling out stuff. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be awesome to see what you guys continue to achieve, because you're already doing amazing things, and it's only going to compound year after year. And the more stories you can share, the greater impact it's going to have. So I look forward to seeing you guys traveling the world and taking stories from all over the place. It'll be epic.
Yeah, appreciate it, Lachie.
Thank you,
mate.
Thank you so much for tuning in to that episode. It's, I've listened to it multiple times now, and it's such a powerful story, and I really love the authenticity and the way that, Curly put into his own words what he was feeling and how the experiences were for him. And, the authenticity just shows how powerful real conversations can be. And I hope by listening to this, it, sparks a conversation for you and your mates. And, I'm sure you took away as much from this that I did. And please feel free to share it. Reach out to Curls or the ThNks Collective boys or myself to continue the conversation and help be a part of what the Man That Can project is focused on doing, which is helping men to take their life to that next level. So, gents, if you aren't a part of the free Facebook group, make sure you search the Man That Can project on Facebook. Join the group. So there is also a page, so make sure you join in the group, and we'd love to get to know you further in the community. There's a heap of free webinars, live Q&As, and tools and resources and strategies to help you guys to start on that journey of becoming that best version of yourself. So thanks again, men, and I look forward to seeing you in our Facebook group. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.